following Macedonian victory over the classical Greek city-states at the Battle of Chaeronea, Corinth would essentially become the epicenter of Macedonian influence in the classical Greek world. Indeed, after Alexander the Great's death, Corinth remained a very important city to the Macedonians as it was their main power base in Greece. However, over the following years, this wouldn't always be the case, with the city of Corinth changing hands and playing a very important geopolitical role in the decades to come. Welcome to part 3 of the history of Corinth. So, following the Antigonids' assertion of dominance in mainland Macedonia and Greece, Corinth remained the epicenter of Macedonian influence. However, in 243 BC, there was finally an attempt by the classical Greeks to unify themselves into one nation. This was called the Achaean League. Now, the Achaean League was made up of Greek city-states who shared a common ancestry, as well as history. This meant a majority of the Greek classical world. So, in 243 BC, the Achaean League took Corinth for themselves, claiming that it was an important historical and cultural centre of their history. This, to no one's surprise, angered the Antigonids and resulted in many on and off wars between the Achaean League and the Macedonians. Now, Corinth remained in the hands of the Achaean League until the Achaeans had to deal with the city of Sparta. The Spartans had never really been conquered by the Macedonians, and as a result still maintained some of that arrogant Spartan pride that they had always had. So the Achaeans and Macedonians essentially joined together to deal with the Spartans and teach them a lesson. Now, as a sign of gratitude for this help, the Achaeans give Corinth back to Macedon. However, as with all things Greek, the Achaeans and the Macedonians are once again butting heads in 200 BC. This is mainly because the Antigonid Macedonian king Philip V has begun to assert his dominance over the Greek world a little bit too harshly for the Achaeans' liking. So, as a result, the Achaeans look over the Mediterranean towards the city of Rome. Now, Rome had just established itself as the main power in the Mediterranean, as they had just defeated both Carthage, Syracuse, and Macedon, as Macedon had sided with Carthage during the Second Punic War. So Rome already had a foothold in the Greek world, controlling the area that was known as Epirus. So the Achaeans proposed that Rome joins forces with them, and together they march up into Macedon and teach Philip V a bloody lesson about interfering in Greek affairs. So Rome, never really being able to drop a grudge, agreed to this plan and march out with their army as well as a few Achaeans to face Philip V in open battle. The Romans eventually bump into the Macedonian army during the foggy battle of Cynocephalae, and through a superior tactical command structure were able to defeat Philip V. So with Philip V defeated, Rome essentially became the most powerful player in the Greek world. Now, as mentioned before, Rome was only invited to become involved in the Greek world by the Greeks to deal with an outside power. Now, the outside power was Rome, and Rome was beginning to assert itself as the hegemonic leader. So, in a classical Greek way of dealing with things, decided that the Romans were suppressing their freedom. And the one thing the Greeks do not like is foreign powers trampling on their freedom. So, in 146 BC, the Achaeans go to war with Rome. And this doesn't go well. In fact, the Achaeans get completely and utterly annihilated by Rome. So much so that Rome is able to march right into the heartland of Greece, specifically Corinth, and sack the ancient city. In fact, they not only sack it, they completely raze it to the ground. So with this, Greece is essentially under Roman command, and it's now a province of the Roman Republic. So how does Corinth come back from this? They have been completely and utterly wiped out by the Romans, and their city is non-existent. Well, it turns out that in 44 BC, whilst Julius Caesar is busy campaigning his way into the dictatorship of Rome, he actually refounds Corinth as a Roman colony. Now, this city would go on to flourish in the Roman world as the Romans began to absorb more and more Greek culture, and indeed began to view the Greeks as second citizens to the Romans themselves. So as a result, the Greek world, including Corinth, Athens, Argos, Sparta, even Thebes, flourished under this new empire, and will continue to do so for many, many centuries to come. This was all until 267 CE, when the Goths ransacked through mainland Greece and sacked a majority of the ancient cities, including Corinth. In 396 BC, the Visigoths also sacked Corinth. However, unlike a majority of cities the Visigoths sacked, they did not completely destroy Corinth, meaning that Corinth was able to outlive the ancient age and enter into the medieval age. And so, Corinth, which was the birthplace of many aspects of ancient Greek culture, survived when many aspects of the ancient world did not. Thanks for watching and listening to our video. If you like the channel, consider subscribing to Ancient History Guy. Or, if you really like the channel, head on over to our Patreon feed. There, for as little as $1 a month, you can gain access to exclusive documentaries, behind-the-scenes footage, and videos before they're live on YouTube. All sources are listed and linked in the description below. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe. I've been the Ancient History Guy, and as always, I'll be seeing you later.